Hey everyone, and welcome back to SellerApp's webinar. And today we're going to be talking about something really interesting and something that most of the sellers I've seen do wrong, which is valuating your own company to sell it to other people, or if you just want to valuate your company to see how much it holds in the market, which is really important. So yes, we have someone from Dragonflip come and speak in today. So let's get started with the session. So hey everyone, let's welcome Nicholas Brown from Dragonflip, and I'm just going to refer to him as Nick in the following sessions as well. So hi Nick, how's it going?
Pretty good. I am enjoying spring in Stockholm, so I'm excited to talk to you about business valuation and help any of the SellerApp users value their business.
Amazing. It's so exciting to have you. And this is one of my favorite topics to talk about because when you're talking about valuating your business, there's so much that you need to consider. And of course, you're going to be talking to us about that as well. So when someone, let's just get to the topic first because there's so many things going on in my head. So when someone is planning to sell their Amazon FBA business, I understand that it's very important for them to evaluate their business. And have you seen this step being done wrong by people? And can you also tell me what people should do to evaluate your business? Are there any tools that they should be using as well?
Yeah, I mean, valuation, I always say, is part science, part art. A lot of business owners who are valuing their business, naturally they inflate the valuation because they've spent so much time, effort, resources growing their business, so it means a lot to them. So I think the biggest mistake is overinflating the value of the business, which is where that's where Dragonflip comes in. We have a valuation calculator on our website that can give you a objective view of what the market value of your business would be. Or you can speak to a broker like me or one of our other Dragonflip teammates who can really talk to you about the various aspects of your business and give you a more detailed valuation. That way you can use it for legal and tax purposes, to track your business performance, or even prepare for exit.
Amazing. So I think I forgot to ask you about what Dragonflip is, and also could you introduce yourself for our speakers or our listeners who are listening right now?
Absolutely. My name is Nicholas Brown. I am the head of mergers and acquisitions for the UK and USA markets at Dragonflip. And just to give you an overview of what Dragonflip is the top e-commerce focused brokerage firm in Europe. So basically, we only work with e-commerce businesses, mostly Amazon FBA businesses, and help these business owners exit at the price that they want to exit at. So we offer brokerage services and then some exit planning services to help you get to that exit price if your valuation is too low currently.
Amazing. And I think you're the perfect person to talk to us about, valuating your FBA business and how you can sell your FBA business for a very attractive amount. So yes, to understand in depth about valuating your business, could you talk about some tools that people can use or techniques that people can use to evaluate their business?
Yeah, I guess I'll start with how we typically go about valuing businesses at Dragonflip. The first thing we do once we have a potential seller contact us is we get their financials for the last 2 to 3 years. And using those financials, usually a profit and loss statement, we'll either calculate the SDE, which is the seller's discretionary earnings, or the EBITDA, which is net income plus interest, depreciation, amortization, and taxes. Typically, we use SDE for a smaller business. That's one that has annual revenue of less than $1 million, and then we'll use EBITDA for a larger business. So once we have calculated either the EBITDA or the SDE, then we multiply it by a valuation multiple to determine the market value. And I think later I'll go into some of the aspects that go into determining the valuation multiple, but that's basically a general methodology of how we typically value a business.
Amazing. And have you seen in your experience, what has been the most basic value or an average value that a business holds? Let's say if they're selling for 5-6 years on Amazon.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, 5 or 6 years on Amazon, that's a pretty mature business. I mean, it might not be mature for a brick and mortar business, but usually when we at Dragonflip work with businesses, we want them to at least have 2 years worth of financial information. So, and you mentioned the valuation multiple. I think since I started in this industry, which was around 2015, the typical multiple has significantly grown. I think it's because they have Amazon aggregators out there. E-commerce is becoming more and more popular, and Amazon itself is gigantic. So when I started, a 3x multiple was a top of the line business, and now you see multiples of 4, 5, and 6x. But getting back to your question, I think the typical multiple for a mature business with quality products and a lot of financial data is usually probably around a 4x. And that's general. I want to make sure that to reiterate, that's the general average.
Perfect. I think the 4x multiple has gotten me heated for the session, and people who are listening right now are also like leaning in. They're like, okay, all right. So now we're going to talk about the factors to keep in mind if you want to reach the 4x, 5x multiple. So let's talk about the basics. So let's talk about product. So in your experience, what type of products have you seen do well in terms of when you want to sell your Amazon FBA business? Was it one single product? Was there a line of products that the seller was selling? Or is it like variation products? And I know this is $1 million question that even I get asked a lot. It's like, what is a perfect product for Amazon FBA? And there is no perfect product. So of course you can do your market research and you can understand your niche better. But what according to you, Nick, is a product that you have seen sell like hotcakes and is like a really good, like an eye for investors to look out for?
Yeah, I mean, giving specific products might be a little too granular. What I'll say is based on a lot of my conversations with buyers, they tell me that they want to buy brands, not products. And to me, that means that they are looking for a business with maybe fewer SKUs, a high number of positive reviews, and most importantly, products that are related to each other, maybe in the same niche. I think a lot of time, I won't say a lot, often I see one mistake that Amazon business owners make, especially in the beginning, is they'll see one product that's selling a lot, they've done their market research, and it's very profitable, they're making lots of money, and then they see another product that might not be related or in the same niche, but then they to them, revenue is revenue, profit is profit. So they'll add that to their offering. And then you get a lot of disparate product offerings under the same brand, but they're really not related. And you can still sell your business if that is the way it is. But if you have interrelated products within the same niche, that'll get your valuation multiples to that 4, 5, 6x. And just to give you some popular niches now, I see a lot of buyers asking me about products in the home and garden, toys, what else? Maybe some fitness, sporting, outdoors. Basically, if you've been to a Target, a lot of the products you might find at Target, that's what they're looking for in those sort of brands. Yeah, I mean, and those are what a lot of the buyers are asking for. Some of the buyers might be not so eager to buy apparel or electronics. Some might, but and that doesn't mean you have a great apparel business or a great electronics business that they won't buy it. But typically, it takes it's more difficult to integrate that into their current product offerings. So those are some of the niches that are popular.
That was wonderfully answered. And another thing that I've noticed is, I mean, I can obviously verify it with you right now, is that if your product has a lot of variations, a lot of investors or like people who are looking to buy Amazon businesses are not into it because it does get expensive. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you're right on the money there. Everyone I talk to says they want fewer SKUs rather than more. Obviously, for the current business owner, offering more variety for your customers seems like a great thing, especially if you can sell more volume. But when in terms of integrating your business into a new buyer's current platforms, the more SKUs makes the process more complicated. So a lot of my bigger buyers are looking for businesses with fewer SKUs.
Amazing. Thank you for answering that question, Nick. And next thing that I want to talk about is trending versus sustainability. So a lot of people who I've spoken to are looking to buy trendy or start trendy businesses like fidget spinners and so much more, which is trendy right now. But do you think having a trendy business is sustainable? Also, how does one make a trendy business sustainable?
Yeah, those are two good questions. In terms of a trendy business, if you're making good money, I think someone will be interested. But if you're trying to get a long-term business and get a higher valuation, the more trendy your product offerings, buyers are going to be a little bit more skeptical about giving you a lot of money up front, especially in terms of deal structure. They might factor in it's a higher perceived risk from a buyer's perspective. So if they do approach you to buy your business, it's likely that they'll want to have some sort of earn-out or delayed payments to make sure that they're going to recover their investment and basically mitigate the risk of a trendy product offering. In terms of sustainability, it's really difficult to give general advice. I would say that if you have trendy products, if you're doing a fidget spinner, then maybe you try to add products that are related to maybe children's toys or something that can be a little bit more sustainable, and you can have that business and sell those products year after year rather than have like a big 3-month spike and then you're declining, and then you have to explain to buyers why your revenue and profits are declining month over month.
Right. Okay. And I think having a trendy, so whenever I give advice on people who are planning to start the business, I think keeping trendy aside, maybe you can come up with product ideas which help people in their day-to-day lives, because if you can make someone's life easier, and then their product automatically starts trending on social media. So I think that's another thing that I just wanted to add there. So yeah, as a business owner, this is the next question that has come up in my mind. So as a business owner, how do I treat my business? Do I be like really hands-on and be involved in like granular level, or should I not be hands-on, and like, what do you suggest a business owner does?
Yeah, I mean, I think especially when you're starting any business, the business owner will have to be heavily involved in product selection, making sure the processes are correct, documenting the processes. I think that any business owner is going to need to do that initially. But if you're building the business to sell, then you want to start automating and getting these processes less and less time intensive over time, because the higher your valuation multiple will be higher. It's directly correlated to or indirectly correlated to the amount of time you spend. So all things remaining equal, a business that requires an owner to spend 5 hours running the business per week is going to be valued a lot higher than a business that requires the owner to spend 35 hours per week. So I understand that new business owners are going to be like, I can't spend 5 hours a week on my business. And I definitely understand that. But as you grow and your business becomes more mature, you should be working to automate and document your processes and try to figure out ways to reduce that owner time commitment if you want a higher valuation multiple.
True. And adding on to that, I think I have seen in bigger companies, 30% of their profits go in paying their employees. So automated process, and if you can also outsource a lot of tasks, that can also attract a lot of buyers. What do you think about that, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, that's another fantastic point, especially as, COVID has done lots of terrible things to the world, but it has made Zoom and outsourcing even more a more regular possibility for even a small business owner. So if you can outsource maybe your content creation, maybe getting your reviews for your product sales, any other sort of tools, like SellerApp. I mean, all of these tools can help you automate things and help you. And outsourcing is another way to reduce that owner time commitment and subsequently increase your valuation multiple.
Well, thank you, Nick. And adding on to the SellerApp thing, we have managed advertising services as well, and we see great returns on it. So we have seen bigger enterprises come in for managed services because they do not want to spend time on Amazon advertising, because it can get taxing and you have to keep checking up on that. So of course, if you are growing your business and you need to outsource a couple of things, SellerApp can take care of your advertising as well. So thank you for putting that in there, Nick.
My pleasure.
So moving on, Now that I know how to evaluate my business, now I know what products to sell, how do I know when is the correct time for me to sell my FBA business?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is another good question. And that really comes down to the owner and their exit planning. That might be a reason why you reach out to me. I can give you a valuation, let you know how you can obviously read your financial information, but I can tell you based on the current market value, this is what I think your business would sell for. If that is something that you are happy with, then we can proceed and bring it to market. If you have an exit goal or price in mind and we're not quite there yet, then you can start planning to and taking the steps to reach that valuation. And another thing, even if you aren't ready to sell right now, you might want to sell in a year or 2 years from now. It's always good to reach out to me or even use our valuation calculator, because the earlier you know that you want to sell, the more time you have to start preparing your business for sale. And you can, like, if you come to me and I can tell you, you're spending way too much time on this business, here are some strategies you might use to automate things. Or I might say your products are a little disparate. Maybe you should consolidate some of your SKUs. Those are things that we can help you with and help you prepare for your eventual exit.
Amazing. And I think that was very well said. And it's very important to start thinking about selling your Amazon business. If you want to right now, it's better to start early than late, because selling your FBA business, I was just coming to that, is not an easy process. So we will talk about this in a while. Before that, I have one more question. So So the next question that I have for you, Nick, is very important, is finance. So how does one prepare their financial statements for the buyers, and what are the things that are needed financial wise?
Yeah, I understand that, like, when you're starting your business and you're trying to pick your products, you're doing all these things, and finances are in the back of your mind, but maybe preparing that P&L or your balance sheet is less important until maybe tax time. I have told people, especially if they are preparing their business for sale, that it is well worth paying the extra money to get an accountant to go over your books and make sure all of your financial statements are sound. That investment will pay off probably 20 times when you actually go to market, because I don't say the most important thing, but one of the most important things is having the sound financials, and nothing breaks that buyer trust than having financials that are wonky or commingled, or they just have issues. And if you have a professional preparing them, then you have that peace of mind, and you'll have buyer confidence in your business.
True. No, the confidence is what I think confidence lies in finance. So your statements have to be foolproof, and that includes your taxes as well, taxes being paid, some legal registrations as well. So could you talk more about having some claims or some permits from the legal aspects? Like, what should a seller have before they look for buyers?
Yeah, I think depending on where you're located, if you should definitely have your VAT registration. If you can protect your products via trademarks or patents, these are things that that would help you legally when you're transferring the business, and it makes your business more attractive to the larger buyers, because they're not worried about having to go and do all that legwork, getting the products patented, trademarking the brand. If you have all that done already, your valuation will be higher, and it'll make the transition easier for the new buyer.
No, definitely. And I completely forgot about the patents and trademark aspect of it, because that's a big plus if you are planning to sell your business, because as a buyer, I would look for that as well. So yes, now coming to the last question that I have for you, Nick, how long does it take for you to sell your Amazon FBA business? Because it does not happen overnight. So what, according to you, people should expect when they're selling their Amazon business? Like, what's the time frame?
Yeah, at Dragonflip, our typical sales cycle is around 90 days. So that's from the first time you contact me and send me all your financial information, your operations information. I give you your valuation, and then from that point until you have a contract signed and the money's in your account, it's usually about 90 days. And I think that's a little bit shorter than you would typically find. And that's because Dragonflip, we, unlike some of our competitors, we don't represent any other type of business except for e-commerce. So our whole buyer pool is full of e-commerce buyers looking for your businesses like yours. So our sales cycle is a little bit shorter because half our list isn't looking for a SaaS business. So it's 90 days, but that's a little probably on the shorter end that you'll see if you're doing other research.
No, definitely, because we have had another speaker who just sold his business for 7 figures, and he told me the whole process took up to a year. So 90 days is good news for me. So yeah. Another thing that just popped in my head, what if a buyer is watching this webinar? So how do you, or what should you keep in mind while buying Amazon FBA business? Let's say like 3 points that you should keep in mind.
3 points. You should definitely make sure you have access to all the financials you need. I would say do all your research or all your due diligence before you submit an LOI. In my experience, a lot of frustration comes when a buyer might submit a letter of intent and then start doing all the due diligence rather than do a lot of discovery before and then just confirm what they already knew during the post-offer due diligence. So I would say do a lot of due diligence up front and before you submit your LOI. Another thing a buyer should consider is to make sure that I am trying to make sure my words are correct here. I would say make sure that your expectations are, you have the right expectations going into it. A lot of times the seller is selling a business for the first time. There's a lot of questions. There's not a lot of trust because you don't really know them. And so they might be more wary about sending information over to you. So I would say, try to be patient. I know it's not your job, quote unquote, to be patient when you're trying to buy a business, but you have to sometimes put yourself in the shoes of a seller and let them know that, okay, this is my baby. I've been growing this business for years. I'm worried about selling it and I want to make sure I'm getting the right amount. So I would say set expectations correctly. And then, and following up on that, I would say build trust because even after you have purchased the business, the money's in their account, you still need to work with this seller because they have tons of institutional knowledge that you might not have. So you want to make sure that you're getting all that institutional knowledge. And if you need to reach out to them 6 months after the sale for a question about the business, they'll be there to help you out. So I think those are the 3 points I would report to a potential buyer.
That was very well said, Nick. And I love when you mentioned that you need to be patient and set realistic expectations for the sellers as well. Because, of course, my Amazon FBA business, your Amazon FBA business is like your baby. And, of course, it is hard letting go, but it's exciting as well. So, yes, before we move on forward with some discount codes and promotion from Dragonflip, do you have anything else to add, Nick?
I would say that currently, if you're thinking about selling, this is definitely a seller's market. They have lots of demand and supply is actually lower. So if you are interested in figuring out, knowing what your business is worth, what you might be able to sell for, I think this is a very good time. You've probably read about Amazon aggregators and the growth of the e-commerce market. So I'm happy to give you a free, non-binding consultation and to help you value your business and determine whether this is the right time to exit.
Perfect. And how can people contact Dragonflip? Is there a code that they can use while they are signing up on your platform? Could you elaborate on that, please?
So there's no code, but any SellerApp user, if you see this webinar or you go to the SellerApp website, any SellerApp user can go to dragonflip.com. Our valuation calculator is free. And if you use the valuation calculator, you'll see you can sign up for a call with me. And you'll get a discounted success fee should we bring your business to market. Typically, our success fee is 10%. For SellerApp users, it would be 8%. So I'm happy to discuss that with you. And please contact me and let me know if you're thinking about selling.
Definitely. And check the link in the description box down below to contact Dragonflip if you are planning to sell your FBA business. So I think this is it for today's session. Thank you so much for being here, Nick. It was a pleasure having you and I have learned so much. So yeah, if you are not already thinking about selling your FBA business, you should definitely think about it. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Do not forget to click that bell icon so that you can receive notification each time we post content. And until next time, time. Happy selling.